Is it easier for you to travel now in other countries besides Iran as a woman doing the kind of work that you do than it was in 1973? Are some of the other countries that you write about, Syria, Morocco, places that one would think are somewhat less liberated than you just described Iran? Is it hard for you to get around? Do you have to dress in a certain way? Do you have to behave differently?
When I go to Iran, I have to wear a scarf, but I would wear kind of what I'm wearing now.
Morocco, same thing?
Oh, Morocco is very secular. Syria is very secular. That's not an issue. What I worry about in Syria is the secret police. Syria is the most brittle society in the region. In many ways, I think the most difficult to crack. One of my favorite stories, if I can tell it, is about a man named Riyad Turk. He's the Nelson Mandela of Syria. One of the reasons I wanted to go to the region and find people was because someone said to me, there are no Lech Walenses in the Middle East. So I set out to find out who were the Lech Walenses, who were the Nelson Mandelas, and I found a Nelson Mandela in Syria. He'd been in prison time after time after time, and when he was 50, he was picked up once again by the Syrians and for protesting totalitarian rule. And he was held in a room the size of an elevator shaft with no furniture, no bed, no toilet, no pen, no paper, no window, no access to the outside world, no charges against him, no trial, not knowing how long he'd be held. He didn't know what happened to his family. His wife was picked up at the same time he was. And he kept his sanity by taking the uncooked kernels of rice from his soup at night and during the day using them to draw geometric designs on the floor of his cell. He did that for 18 years. And what happened when he came out at the age of 68? He started protesting the government again. And what happened? He went back to jail. And I saw him after he got out the fourth time, a few weeks afterwards, now in his mid-70s. You know, he'd missed the upbringing of his children. And rather than retreat into mellow old age in the comfort of his family, he was out there still speaking out. And he's not the only one. There are lots of those kinds of people. You know, in Syria, as we so often do with other countries as well, we look at Syria's meddling in Lebanon, Syria's facilitating of foreign fighters into Iraq, Syria playing spoiler on Arab-Israeli peace. But we really don't look at what's happening inside Syria. And so that's what I try to do as a microcosm with all of these countries, to get a sense of who's doing what and what are the potential for change. And he was very interesting. I said to him, you know, do you think that someday in your lifetime you'll see something different? And he's now in his late 70s, mid to late 70s, and he said, probably not. But what if I didn't do what I'm doing now? Could I live with myself for living with this kind of injustice? And that's something that I couldn't do. But there are lots of people like him.